Villainy is always more interesting than virtue.
I love the winter, the winter loves me. I'm a winter baby in the winter, winter baby in the winter. Who says it's spring when we can have snow? Who says it's spring? No. I'm a winter baby in the winter.
Jeff, do you know about the winter babies in the winter?
No, I don't want to either. But I'm excited to talk about this episode, but not about winter babies.
Winter babies. Kevin's a winter baby in the winter. Who says that you can't love snow? No. Big Brother Canada 10, episode 27, the week 10 special eviction. The final four are now the final three, guys. Here on Wednesday, May 4th, 2022. There is one more episode to go. The finale of Big Brother Canada tomorrow, May 5th. May the 5th be with you. No, I guess that's not a thing. I'm Dave Mader, joined with my brother Jeff Mader and co-host Jaemeel Robinson to break this down. We weren't here Monday. There was Leaf games and there was people sick and different things happening. So we are kind of covering both episodes, episode 26 and episode 27 tonight. But we're down to the final three. We got Betty, we got Josh, and we got Kevin, guys, and I'm actually very happy because I've been rooting for Kevin for a while now. Somehow he got evicted here instead of Helena. Helena gets sent out here and becomes, what is she now? Our seventh juror, right?
If you count Canada.
Well, Canada is the eighth juror. We get to vote here. Jeff, who would you vote for as the winner?
I would probably vote for Kevin, but that's just me.
Yeah. Jaemeel?
I don't think that's the majority.
Kevin, then Josh.
Josh, that's your pecking order?
Yeah.
I would vote for Betty over Josh.
I think I would too.
Josh is boring and not rootable. Okay. He's not a bad person. He's just not a good TV character. He's not somebody I'm going to go, oh, remember that BBCAN 10? Remember Josh? At least like between Betty and Kevin, they're very distinct personalities. They've had some great moments this season. Josh is just like, what? He's already a doctor and whatever.
In fairness, you could say the same thing about Helena. She's not a great TV character either.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
I wasn't like I would rather have I would have liked to have seen Helena and Kevin go into this final three here, but since that couldn't happen or didn't happen because Josh had all the power, he won the HOH and he had the veto in this final thing. And I think that, like, the fact that Kevin survives this is kind of remarkable because they made the wrong call, guys. We didn't really talk about that yet, but Jaemeel and I talked about it last Thursday when they had the choice. Helena and Kevin had all the power. They could choose to get out Jacey-Lynne or Josh. And they're like, well, we feel like we can trust Josh more. He's in the crash test dummies with us.
They felt like they could manipulate him more and get their way, get Betty out. And this was what they tried tonight.
Right. They thought it almost kind of worked. Like, it seemed like, I don't know how much Josh was playing that up or not, but
he wasn't I don't think he cared about their offer at all. He was keeping Betty all the way because not only was it good for his friendship, which is what the show tried to portray, but it made sense strategically. Like, he's going to get the votes over Betty.
Is he though? Because Herman said his vote was never going to Josh in the jury segment tonight.
Right. Well, that's the thing. It is a bitter jury. So
and Summer hates Josh.
It is. It's definitely a bitter jury.
Why does Summer hate Josh?
Because she asked him straight out, and he wasn't sure yet, apparently. But
no, you're putting me at risk, my guy.
my guy, you're putting me at risk.
Yeah. He knew what I was calling for.
Yeah.
Joshua.
Yes.
When I asked you during your campaign if you would put me on the block, you said no. So why the did you lie? It doesn't make any sense. It makes absolutely no sense.
I wasn't even trying to lie. In the moment,
you
honestly.
lied. I asked you, would you put me up?
In the moment, I barely even thought about anything. And
but we talked about it before.
Because I knew that if you went up,
No, you're putting me at risk, my guy. I asked you.
In the moment, I just picked people.
Don't clap in my face. Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Okay, but she gets to decide. She gets to help decide the winner, guys. So
Honestly, for Josh's sake, I wish there was the ability to vote someone back into the game, to which I would vote Summer back in, so I could vote her out again with that attitude.
yeah,
Just so I could put her at risk twice. Just so she knows that it was purposeful that I was putting her at risk and I want to get rid of her.
Yeah. I mean, in no way she's gonna try to make him feel like he needs to defend that decision when he really doesn't.
Why would he? Like, why were they super tight, Josh and Summer? I don't really
know. Because she's too narcissistic not to think that she's at the center of the universe, and the situation has to somehow pertain to her misfortune versus his fortune.
Right. Yeah, it's been kind of it's an interesting jury, an interesting jury segment here. But coming back to Helena and Kevin's decision they're like, oh, we can work with Josh or we can manipulate him. He said he would throw the HOH. We saw him Monday. He's like, I was never throwing this HOH. And even beyond, they didn't know what the competition was going to be. But if they had known, I think they would have to know that Jacey-Lynne would be the one they would want to compete against in this, all things being equal, because
she had her dates.
But it was not even about dates. Like it was balancing that like little table thing, right?
But it was balancing to get to the dates, though. If you didn't know your dates, you were screwed.
You saw how much Helena struggled with it, right?
Yeah, I hated that challenge. That challenge sucked.
But Jaemeel, Wendy's all day breakfast is coming.
Wendy's.
All day breakfast. Go to Wendy's?
No.
You get
no one goes to Wendy's for breakfast.
You get to breakfast Baconator?
Not yet. You will go to Wendy's at Petit Rocher, Nouveau Brunswick. Come on, man.
No one goes to Wendy's for breakfast. And after seeing that competition, I have even more reason not to, ever.
Oh, I fucking hate all the days. I hate the days competitions. I hate all this. Like, what day was this? Who got evicted? Who got evicted before this competition? Who got evicted? I don't care.
The audience never knows either. Only those people, It's just it's an in-game game, and I don't like it either.
There's too much emphasis on that specific portion of the game, and I hate it. Right?
Yeah.
Where they should that challenge right there should have been an endurance challenge. We lost out on an endurance challenge. Where's the endurance challenge? Who wants it more?
That would have been that would have been better. Or like if they had done like a pressure box type thing or hold down the buttons, whoever wants it more.
Yeah.
But all these competitions down the stretch have been about days, and I'm just like, it's okay to have one, but do we have to have like them all like this?
Yes, all.
It's terrible. That's you know what? That is actually my number one complaint of this season. I don't care about the dates, right? If the dates were something that me as an audience member were following along and playing along, and you do it once in a while, that's one thing. But when it seems like 50% of the competitions are date-based, it sucks. It does not encourage like a fairness in the game. So you have people who are either very athletically inclined who are able to win, right? Or you have the people who know the dates and they're able to win via the dates and the gimmick, right? There's no in between, right? What is Kevin supposed to do? Kevin is supposed to win that just purely like circus game, right? And all the circus games, it seems that it has a date base around it.
Right, they all have had like the one even in this episode 27 was like they got to climb through like the sewers or whatever. But then it was also just like who won this before this or who was on the block at this time or whatever. And I'm like, okay. And then Betty was not good at it, but most of them like they know the dates or whatever. And going back to that final HOH competition in the Wendy's room. First of all, okay, just to take a step back. It was about like this clock that was above the door, Jeff, right? Mm-hmm. And it was counting down all season. And like Kevin's like, it's going to be by my calculations, it's going to run out at this certain time. And I think it ends up going off a little earlier than they expect. And they're like, okay, it's going to be something amazing. There's going to be some kind of advantage in there. There's going to be some kind of really cool thing. And they get in there. Guess what? It's Wendy's breakfast. That's what it is. And you got a chance to like practice on the competition board, but Helena's just like, I'm going to bed. I don't care. Kevin was rather upset with her because she's like, even though they think Josh is going to throw it at this point, but they're like, we should still try to beat him just in case he doesn't, because obviously he didn't. He went for it. You know, and the fact that they were going around like, who is more of a competition threat between Jacey-Lynne and Josh prior to that? It was all upper body strength, right? Like, all things being equal, if you know your days, like
It was Josh.
but they didn't know what the competition was going to be. I get that part, but you know,
I don't even care. I think just overall, he was a bigger threat.
He was a bigger threat. The fact that him and Betty were so tight, and that Betty and Jacey-Lynne never would have been a duo in the same way, right?
Jacey-Lynne would not have remembered her days like as well.
I don't think so either. And the how this played out tonight with the veto, where, you know, Josh uses the veto on Betty, and then you know, even Betty, just this whole like, we can't let Kevin win, or we can't let the evil people win, because we're the good people, you and me, Josh, and we have to see this through. I don't know. I just think that like there was a whole bunch of reasons not to keep Josh, right? And to keep Jacey-Lynne in the game. I think the one caveat to that was, based on what we saw in the jury segment in this episode, was that like there was a lot of people pulling for Jacey-Lynne in that jury, and if she had been in the final two, she very much could have won. It seemed like.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe from that standpoint, yeah, Josh is more disliked by the jury, so that is a good point.
That's the only I think that's the only strong, compelling reason, because you know, obviously Gino would vote for Jacey-Lynne, and then Gino could maybe rally like Moose and Herman and a bunch of people to vote for her.
Well, they called like Helena a snake, and then like they also said that like, oh, I think like Moose did. I think like, oh, I think Kevin's actually really running things, and like I think Kevin will get the props if he gets there, but he's got to get there.
Well, like, do you think that both Josh and Betty now would want to sit next to?
They want to sit next to each other.
Kevin at the end, or they want to sit next to each other?
I think they want to sit next to each other.
If they're smart, they should sit next to each other.
But I don't think they're that smart.
I think they're dumb enough to be smart enough. You know what I mean? Like I think
they would make a smart decision for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I think Josh. Paul, if I was Josh, I think I could beat Betty.
Yeah.
And Betty, I think I think she doesn't even care about that. She just doesn't like Kevin. He's evil. So
he's evil. He's a manipulator.
Right.
That's not how Big Brother works.
At least one of us wins. It's not Kevin.
Right. I think that's literally what she said to him tonight, to Josh, was like, you know, I don't even care about the money. I just want to sit next to each other. And like, she already said that. So
yeah. And if Kevin somehow pulls himself to the end, it doesn't even matter who he takes. I think he has the better, compelling story. He's going to win.
He's going to win.
Yeah. Okay. And so,
but he's probably finishing third. Like right now, it looks like he's finishing third.
Well, it depends on who has that final HOH, right?
But 2 out of 3 of them are going to take each other. He's a solo wall. Like, you know, he has to win. Yeah, you know, if he doesn't win, he's not making the.
But like, we saw how bad Betty is at these day competitions and puzzles and anything like super. Like, she's okay at like certain things like endurance, and she's had her wins, but it's we saw how bad she was in this thing tonight, where she had to claw on the sewer. She was 30 more minutes than Josh in that competition.
Yeah, she's either like gonna win it or she sucks. She's like the worst of all time at their competition. Yeah. So
let's say Josh wins part 1 of the HOH, right? And let's say Kevin wins part 2. So now it's between the two of them,
right?
It's almost a flip of the coin, right? You know,
ideally, if you're Kevin, like you hope like Betty wins part 1 and then you beat Josh in part 2. And
I think it's vice versa. I think if you're Kevin, you really want to win part 1.
Right.
You obviously want to win part 1, but if you don't, like, you got to beat Betty in part 2, and that seems doable.
You'd rather beat Josh in part 2. You know what I mean? Like, if that would be the best case scenario, because you know, you go against Betty in a final, whatever they do.
The best case scenario is, even if Betty was to win, part 1, or he was to win part 1, taking Josh is his bigger competition.
Yeah.
Right. So he's got to take out Josh, but let's say that doesn't happen, and let's say it is Josh and Betty in the end.
Mm-hmm.
I think Betty wins.
She might.
I don't know.
Why not?
I think Helena likes Josh a lot more and respects his game a lot more,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
will be
And
kind
Kevin-
of. I think, and also Kevin. If Kevin's in the jury too, they're going to be singing Josh's praises so much that I think it's going to be very hard to ignore. There's not going to be much. Who's advocating for Betty?
Summer.
Summer people who hate Josh will advocate for Betty, right? Like I think that the what
I think
case
she would advocate more that she doesn't like Josh as opposed to that
Mhm.
Betty did something great.
Right.
maybe, but like that it will be what the votes are.
But it's a bitter jury. You got Herman, you got Moose, you got
Some of them are. You saw like Marty's like, I'm just gonna vote for the best player overall, whatever. So like I think, and maybe Gino would be more cool-headed about it, and Jacey-Lynne even. She'll just do whatever I think Gino wants to do. So those are 3 votes right there that could kind of maybe go to Josh, for instance.
Well, I think Kevin gave Jace a lot of shine on her way out.
Yeah.
And I think that Jace kind of sees behind the man behind the curtain that Kevin is.
Mm-hmm.
That she wasn't really talking to Helena and Betty. She was talking directly to Kevin. Kevin was the person who was making things happen.
If we just think about the jury, okay, let's go through the jury members in order. Okay, so it's Betty versus Josh in this scenario. Herman, the first juror, he said he would never give his vote to Josh.
Right, but
He would.
Why?
Josh wins, like competitions.
So he said he would never give his vote
Right.
to
But-
Josh.
but people
So
say that
let's
all the time.
Let's assume he's telling the truth and he's not going to vote for Josh.
Let-
No,
I
I
know
think-
you don't want. I know you don't like Betty, but let's just say that's true, Jaemeel.
but
Okay?
Herman might
No,
not.
it's not the matter if I like Betty or not. I think Herman respects a competition win more than anything.
But Betty's
and
won
think-
competitions too. Betty's won
I
just
know,
as many
but-
as Josh.
But okay, if Josh is making it to the end, he is like bringing himself there, right?
Probably.
So he's won 3. He's won 2 head of households and a POV,
Mhm.
right?
But
And
the
if he
underdog
wins-
story. What about the underdog story?
Herman doesn't care about underdog story.
Like
I'm
Kevin-
giving Herman's vote to Betty
Okay.
in this scenario. Okay,
What about
second
Moose?
juror.
What about Moose?
Moose will vote with Herman. He's voting for Betty too.
No.
Okay. All right. Third juror, Gino. Okay, let's say he's a vote. He's gonna be all like, I respect competition wins. He's a vote for Josh. Okay. Fourth juror is who?
Marty.
Marty. He'll vote for Josh. So that's 2. We're tied. Okay. Fifth juror is
Summer.
Summer. That's a third one. Betty. Right?
Wait, she's
Uh,
voting for Betty?
She's not
I
voting for
don't know.
Josh. She said she would
I don't
never vote for Josh.
I-
I'm Herman. And I don't. Did we the end of the episode? Herman and Betty both said they would never vote for Josh.
That was a week ago.
Doesn't matter. Still said it.
Okay.
Sixth juror, Jacey-Lynne. She'll probably be on this side. She'll probably vote with Marty and Gino. So we're tied. Seventh juror, Helena. Now, maybe more of a Josh vote,
Yeah,
but
I think so.
I could see her voting for Betty.
Nah, I think I think the way that I think Betty tried to give her some shine, but I think the way that Betty has been carrying on and talking about things, I don't think Helena respects it. She respects Josh. I don't
Right.
think she respects Betty that much.
I agree. I think Kevin probably the same.
And Kevin would be the last juror in that case.
Josh.
So, but I don't want Josh to win, guys. He
What?
sucks. He sucks.
It doesn't matter.
I don't. No,
Dave. He does suck, but he's playing the best game right now. Just because he's winning and he's in the power spots.
winning
and
competitions is not the be all and end all.
it is at the end. Like that's the thing with Big Brother. The end game, like you know, you got to win some comps. You can't float by and not have any power. You know, at the end.
But if Kevin's sitting at the end next to Josh or Betty,
I think he probably wins.
Yeah.
what if Josh wins out and then he chooses to take Kevin for whatever reason instead of Betty?
Yeah, well, that's I think
It's going to be how it's positioned. Was it that Josh decided to take Kevin, or did are people going to think that Kevin hoodwinked Josh into taking him?
I just don't see any possibility of Kevin and Josh sitting next to each other.
Ooh.
Unless Kevin takes him and thinking he's more hated, you know.
If you're Kevin, does it? If he went. Let's say Kevin's the final HOH, and you think he would definitely want to sit next to Betty?
I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Why?
because Betty's gonna say something about him being evil, and she's gonna look totally stupid in front of that jury.
Kevin knows this. Kevin can read that because I think that
Kevin has
this
spent more time with the jury talking with each of them. Betty has been arguing with majority of the jury or hanging out with Josh. I don't think she has the relationship built up with this jury. Like Summer respects Kevin, Marty respects Kevin, Herman doesn't respect Kevin and is slowly learning about what he did to the point where he's respecting Kevin, right? Moose understands what Kevin is doing. Marty does. Jacey-Lynne does. And so therefore Gino
And Helena
does.
would be a vote there.
And Helena, like, has purposely antagonized people throughout the game consistently.
And kind of like isolated herself with like really just Josh. I mean, at a certain point, she was just kind of playing with him, and that's it. And I just don't think she's going to get the credit that Josh is. Just kind of like Helena wasn't going to get the credit that Kevin was going to get.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Wow, isn't that savage?
Come on, like Kevin was convincing me when he was trying to convince Josh tonight that people love this underdog story. She's been on the block 5 times. She came back and won out. She's
Tried
like
his best.
I think that I haven't lived with Betty. I think she would be insufferable. I agree, but to live with because she's so like in her own head about whatever. But you know, almost a little bit like that Survivor player we were talking about earlier, Marianne, in some respects, just self-involved.
Betty's playing the game that Summer in her dreams wish she played.
Kind of, yeah.
Where she talks sass and is sassy throughout the game and then turns it on the end and wins challenges. It's exactly what Summer wishes. No way Summer's voting for Betty. No chance in hell.
Can Betty not win this? You're saying there's no chance Betty wins this then?
Oh, there's not no chance. There's a chance. But you know what? The thing is, when she starts talking in the final, she kind of really needs to out argue whoever she's against. I don't know if she's going to do that. You know, I think she's a little bit. She's too self-centered to kind of articulate to like 9 people. You know why she. I think needs to win the same because like she's going to talk a lot about Josh and her and Josh and that was her whole narrative.
Yeah. We all know what the Big Brother finale experience is. Whereas the jury is going to ask questions and whoever is going to be in those final 2 chairs is going to be talking about their game, but also how good the other people who are in the jury are. And if it wasn't that they got them out, they would have lost the game to the first in the jury. Kevin is a person that can articulate that. Betty is gonna get pushed back from the jury, and she's gonna attack.
Right.
What if Betty wins the final HOH and she cuts Josh?
She won't.
I know she won't. I know she won't. But like, would that be enough to get her the win?
No.
No, not if she sits next to Kevin. She needs to. She could beat Josh if she articulates it well enough. You know, because the thing is, enough people probably dislike Josh, especially you got some bitter jurors like a Summer, that are gonna badmouth Josh's game. So, like, you know, those are the people that Betty's gonna have to have on her side, and really, you know, it's all about arguments, really, at a certain point.
So it seems like Betty will most likely, even if she's in that final 2, which seems likely, but it seems like she'll talk herself out of any kind of votes that she might have even got.
Yep.
Yeah, and I just think whoever sits beside her, Kevin or Josh, are just going to be able to articulate what they did better.
Yep.
I think she could win the Canada's vote.
Yeah.
What for? Like Canada's best player?
No, Canada has a juror's vote.
Yeah, I agree with you, Betty. Betty's going to get that, yeah.
Oh,
over
please.
Josh.
over anyone. I would bet money she's getting the Canada's jury vote, no matter what.
I think there's a ton of people out there who are cheering for Betty, who are like, wrongly so, maybe, but like it's, Josh. No, Josh. I do not want Josh to win.
Right.
Anybody but Josh is what I want. I wanted him to go to last week. He's still here.
They kept Jacey-Lynne.
They kept, they should have kept Jacey-Lynne, and so Josh is here, and it seems like he's got a great chance at winning this somehow, and I hate it. That's what I'm going on the record for. Let's check out some photos from the jury house. This summer. The French connection.
Playing cards. Speaking French, but now they, can't talk about their strategy in private.
Yeah.
Okay, I noticed it like when they first showed like her mom, Moose and Gino, and all of them were like trying to like look cool and keep their hands and be like, just like they just had like, and all these pictures make sense now, pointing at the camera.
They're the coolest guys. No lifeguard on duty.
There it is. Morning. We're looking tough. Holding our wrists
in front of our dicks. Pants with no
with really tight pants that have some holes in them and don't fully cover our ankles.
Yeah, that's the look with the white shoes.
Right.
Oh, look at that. That's cool.
There you go. They had to get down for that one.
Oh, there's your draft pick, Jeff. Jacey-Lynne.
She was targeted.
There's
what are these pictures? I'm gonna sit in a red chair now.
It's a Muskoka chair.
Right. They probably are in Muskoka.
Yeah. I don't know. That's kind of lame. How bored do you think Herman must be at this point? He's been in that jury house for so long. I just think he's probably spent more time in that jury house than he did in the actual Big Brother Canada house. All right, let's have a quick look into our draft, guys. So Helena's gone here. So Jen's out. But Sean has both Josh and Betty.
And he had Summer, too. Wow.
And he had Summer. But
Josh did not need to take out. Josh could have gotten Helena or Kevin out in that vote, too.
Right. And then Amanda, Jeff, with Kevin.
Right.
Who I criticized at the time. I was like, you're taking this Kevin guy? This guy who's like clearly going to be a first week boot, and he nearly was.
He almost was.
But here he is. And I guess that my question too about Kevin, because where did Kevin go in our draft? Kevin went 6 overall. And that was Amanda's first pick. And Sean had Josh at number 2. I guess that was a good pick, but like, whatever. And so now that it's all been said and done, whether Kevin wins this game or not, how will we remember him? Like, do you think he
best player of the season?
Yeah, pretty much. Like best strategic player on TV, the most narrated the show pretty much the whole time.
Yep,
and he really was on TV the most.
Right. Maybe same question for Josh. How are we gonna remember Josh?
A boring, good player that it just kind of really was a big target and was never really targeted.
Like last season.
He was on the block a few times. Remember, he was on there next to Jess, and they chose to evict Jess.
Yeah, it made no sense. Like, there's been a bunch of times he's just escaped.
To be fair, the Jess vote was important in changing the flow of power from Kyle and his group.
But Kyle, like, they were gonna get him out eventually anyway, or whatever.
Look, he had a lot of power earlier on, and that was the overturning, the changing of the guard.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would have, I don't know. I remember back then I was like, I'd rather see Jess go than Josh. But looking back on it, I'd rather Jess be here.
Jess wouldn't have done anything.
I know, but
you're just
if Jess was in the finals, you'd be like, oh my gosh, she's so boring.
Why would I cheer for this Josh guy? He's the worst.
Yeah, he's not great TV.
He would be better than Jess.
No.
Jess
Jess had
No, she didn't. Stop it. Stop lying to yourself.
What does Josh have?
More than Jess.
All Josh does is cry.
Cries a lot.
He does.
But you know what? He wins when he needs to. That's for sure. He's kind of like he became the new Marty. You know, like once Marty was gone, Josh took that spot and just won when he needed to. And you know that was the thing about taking out Marty. It was like, why even bother? Just get out friggin' Josh. You know, you can get Marty out whenever. He's terrible.
But then he won in the triple eviction, and he got Marty out, and then he put up Betty in there because he felt like he had to protect Kevin and Helena. That was maybe his biggest mistake in some ways.
Working out for him right now.
But he was able to recover from all that. He's still positioned the best of the three of them. It seems like to win this at this time, at least at this day before the finals. And then Betty, how are we going to remember Betty as a player, win or lose? I guess win again. No, it's going to be a very different.
Who was the run-up from last season?
Well, it was. Did you remember that runner-up? The runner-ups we got on Monday, because when Josh went to get his Wendy's, it was like a series of runner-ups. One of which was Braden.
You had to think about it for a little bit, didn't you?
It was Braden. Karen.
Yep.
And the runner-up from like season 2.
Season 2. Yep. 2, 5, and 9.
2, 5, and 9. And Karen was like, "Let me tell you about Kevin Martin. You got to tell them why you got to win this or whatever." And then Braden was like another one, you know, like
that's who you're gonna remember Betty like.
I got Braden.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
He won some competitions at the end too.
He did. But then, obviously, like he was in love with Tashawn. I guess like Betty's in love with Josh.
Yeah, it's similar.
Yeah.
I just keep thinking back to Betty's boyfriend.
Ian?
Oh my gosh.
Ian in the suit. Yeah.
It was an interesting moment between Kevin and Alina tonight where Kevin was like crying the whole time and she's like, "I'm gonna advocate for you," and it was just like,
yeah, like my heart was with them. My heart was with the ghosts. Okay, like I was cheering. If Kevin had gotten evicted here tonight, I would be cheering for Helena. Is maybe not as strongly as I'm cheering for Kevin, but I think Helena was somebody I was down with, and like
Kevin would have made her look so good in jury.
Oh yeah, so good, and like could have turned that whole snake thing around, and could have given And so, how much will Helena be able to influence for Kevin's behalf? Like, it could actually be a negative if they really don't.
No, I think she's gonna like everything negative that people think about Kevin is gonna be her fault, and everything great is gonna be Kevin. I think she's totally down to doing that. She doesn't care.
No.
Mm-hmm. What do you get for second place in this game?
Is it 20?
20 grand? 10 grand? 10 grand, and you get to go to Winners?
Yeah. You get to go to Wendy's.
And Wendy's.
No.
For breakfast.
I want it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's how it's going to go. Do we have any spoilers? Do we even know who?
No, there's no spoilers.
No spoilers, no feeds.
Watch tomorrow.
Okay. Well, we can go back tomorrow and we can play this out and we'll know who the winner is. But I've made my piece known. I don't want Josh to win this game. And if he does, whatever. But, like it's just get better TV characters casting. Like he's just
Hold on a second. Wait, are you crapping on the casting for this season?
Mm-hmm. They cast Josh.
They could have had Dave. They could have had Dave.
They could have had me. I come on. I'm Josh, and I'm so happy to be here.
Dave, you don't think you're gonna be a little bit? I don't know, Dave. Are you that dynamic of a character on television?
You better believe it. You better believe it.
I like the casting. I think the casting was great this season.
It was good. I agree.
I agree, except for Josh.
You can't have all like 1A type A personalities. You have to mix it up. It's a good mixture.
Do you know how many quotes I have from Josh this season?
How many
None.
quotes do you have from Helena?
I have more than Josh. I have 0 quotes from Josh.
I mean, Helena.
I only have like 2 from Helena, but like
You should have
3.
him crying
I
out
have 3
Kevin.
Helenas.
You should have him crying out for Kevin when Kevin was going to be gone.
Yeah, I didn't pull that night.
See.
Yeah, but like Helena had some things.
I'm a walking, talking disaster. Jalak is a Punjabi word for conniving, scheming, manipulating. And it turns out I'm Jalak.
She was Jalak.
Big Brother America always has a player like Josh too, where it's just like, yeah, so I think I'm going to take out. I'm really hoping Kevin takes out Helena, but I don't know if it's going to work out. And it's just like it's
Josh
just like,
is Gino. Josh is Gino without a showman's.
Josh is Spencer from Big Brother 15. Josh is like
He was great.
Like Josh is
He had great diary room, Spencer, the moving company.
the moving company and the exterminators.
How dare you say that about my Spencer?
Spencer Clausen is blah. But more exciting than Josh. But like kind of that archetype. And like who else would be up there?
He reminds me of like like that guy that was in the Showmance in the US version with Jess, or I think his name was Cody.
Cody. Cody was like a psycho. He was
Right. He was a psycho army brat.
Right.
Who had great exits whenever he got eliminated.
Stop making victim noises.
Walked over a table. That was pretty
Victim noises.
You making all your victim noises, Josh, or whatever it was. Was that who he was going?
Yeah, that was he made the victim noises comment.
Yeah, don't be making victim noises. We don't respect that here. Jessica was like his girlfriend. I think they have like kids now. I think they're
still together.
Yeah, like that was the thing. I don't think Josh Nash, I think he's a good person in real life. I don't have anything personally against him, and if and I wish him well if he does win this. But I just like I just want somebody more memorable to win this. I want either to be Betty or Kevin, and it seems like the odds are against that happening.
I'm fine with anyone from the Final Four winning, honestly.
Yeah.
I didn't want Jace to win. I didn't want Gina to win. I didn't want Moose or Herman. I didn't want Summer.
The only thing I don't want is Marianne to win Survivor. That's the only thing I don't want.
I do. I have her in the draft.
Wait, if Romeo won Survivor, you'd be happy?
Yeah, I'd be way happier.
No, I wouldn't be.
Romeo has a stink face when he wins too.
Romeo is a better TV character than Josh.
Well, that's fair. Romeo's awesome in terms of how
all of those. Everyone on the Survivor cast is better than Josh.
Yeah.
Like all of them.
Jonathan's pretty boring. He's just great in the challenges.
Josh is going to be a great doctor. You don't want your doctor to be too dynamic. He's like, Doc,
you don't want
be compassionate and just tell me what's happening.
You know what? Hey, everybody. You don't want that.
He's a pediatrician.
Oh, he's a kid doctor, so yeah.
But he hasn't told anybody that, right?
Oh my god, it's so stupid. Like
he told them he's a marine biologist.
Just wait for it to fall flat. Like, hey everyone, hey house guests, we got one more secret to tell everyone. Josh, do you have something to tell everyone? I'm not a marine biologist. I'm a pediatrician. Whoa!
Herman and Moose, I guarantee you, will have a huge reaction to that.
Fall off their chairs.
They'll fall off their chairs. They've been practicing falling off their chairs forever.
I noticed that it's always the same jobs. It's always like either a lawyer, a doctor, or a cop. Those 3 jobs are like, oh, I can't tell the house that I'm this thing. It's like, I don't care.
A doctor, why? Because you think they're too rich already, or they're
and like
and I guess they're smart in a sense.
They're smart and they're elitists, I guess. And the same thing with lawyers. And then the cops are the other one because nobody likes cops. I mean, unless you are a cop.
He's a cop.
That's Kevin's job. Kevin is a sales engineer. What's that?
He engineers sales.
How do you engineer a sale? Like it's just you're just in sales.
Well, he puts like the tubes with the marbles, and he drops it in, right, and then it goes all the way through all the tubes, and then it ends up on a keyboard where it press enter and a sale occurs.
And then he turns a gear. He turns a gear, and then the gear turns another thing that says, like, raises a flag and says, "Another one for Kevin."
Yeah, he engineered that. There you go.
There you go. Okay, well, I think that's all we have to say about this season. Let's go, Kevin and or Betty, I guess, and or Josh. But here's my prediction: Josh wins part 1, Kevin wins part 2, Kevin wins part 3, and takes Betty.
I think it's more likely that we're going to see Kevin lose both, and we're going to have Josh and Betty go against each other, and no one's going to care.
It's going to be like, doesn't matter. They'll both take each other.
Yeah.
But if Betty somehow won that, it still seems like, based on Jameel's opinion here, that Betty will, no matter what Betty does, Betty will probably lose.
I think so.
Yep.
Most likely. Although the jury is weird this year because it's got Summer and Herman and Moose, and like they're all kind of bitter jurors. So we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's wrap up for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night. It will probably be a bit later because unless you guys can start earlier on it, because I got 2 Star Trek podcasts tomorrow night. I got the Star Trek Strange New Worlds premiere. I'll be doing that 7 p.m. with Kevin Millard and Jody Simpson, and then at 8 p.m. we're doing the finale of Star Trek Picard season 2 over on Live Long and Podcast, covering both of those episodes. So that's exciting. And then coming over for the Big Brother Canada finale here on Super Mater Brothers Podcasting. And the Flames are in the playoffs, guys, and I got to make sure I get that game in. But that will be going until 1 p.m. tomorrow. So they're playing Dallas in game 2 if they're best of 7. So I got a late night, no matter what, in any respects for tomorrow night. And you should also, I'm hoping we can talk about Doctor Strange in the near future. I know, Jaemeel, you've had to give up your tickets for tomorrow because of COVID. So we can definitely wait some time till we all have a chance to see that film. But I'll be seeing it Friday, so I'm excited about that. Also, we were hoping to maybe recap what was it, Ozark, Jeff, at some point.
Yeah, when are you guys going to talk about Ozark?
I've seen it.
I haven't watched it yet, so
You still haven't watched it,
Jeff? What are you doing?
I haven't watched it because I have to watch it with Amanda, and we're not allowed to be in the same room until Friday. So
why can't you just like watch
FaceTime.
it? Like, why can't you just watch it separately and like text each other as you react to it?
I know it's not the same, Dave.
Not the same. We flew through the episodes, Jane and I. Like it was just like we were get through.
I'm sure we'll fly through it too. I'm just trying not to get spoiled on that shit.
You got to watch out for that.
Yeah, the longer it goes,
Everyone's talking about Ozark.
Yeah, and with Severance, remember we were going to try to talk about that at some point too, but I guess that there's no urgency around that one, so we'll talk about it at some point. But yeah, some great shows and movies here on Super Mater Brothers Podcast in the near future. It's going to help not having the Big Brother Canada 3 times a week to sort of give us more time to talk about things. Also, Live Long and Podcast, as mentioned, our Star Trek theme channel, and Trivial Debates, our 3rd channel where we talk about it's like a game show format where we argue about movies, TV, sports, and more. Most recently, Eamon Mater hosting with Kevin Millard, Matt George, and Tim Seymour competing. What a doozy it was, I got to tell you. So you got to go back and listen to that. What music genre should be banned? What's the best movie trilogy? What restaurant would you eat at for the rest of your life? All those things were discussed.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a tough one.
You need to listen to the movie trilogy one because, oh, Lord.
What was that? It was like Back to the Future, The
Austin
Godfather,
Powers, and
Austin Powers.
Godfather and Austin Powers.
So all different.
Yeah.
I don't know. Where would you guys pick for the food? Like, where would you eat? What restaurant?
I'd go to the Keg.
The Keg. Lord.
I thought the Keg too, but I was like, no, I don't really like the Keg.
Why was not a buffet ever an option?
Well, you can pick that. I don't know. Pizza Hut buffet?
No.
I would get a Pizza Hut buffet.
Mama Tucker's? Something like that.
That's gone. They went out of business.
Right.
Yeah, Mother Tuckers went out of business. I would say, you know what? I like Walk of Fame. I'll stand by Walk of Fame.
I don't know what that is.
It's a It's one up here in Brampton, and they have a good selection of Japanese, Korean, Chinese, and North
All the-
American dishes. It's
Pan Asian.
Pan-Asian.
yeah, it's a Pan Asian. It's a great selection. A lot of it's fresh. A drink bar. I like a drink bar.
I can't remember what Matt George argued in this question, but it was something really off. Like it was something.
What he picked, what was it? We had the keg. We had the beer nation or beer town.
Beer
Town?
Town. Kevin had Beer Town. Yeah.
And
I've never been there.
he Matt George couldn't think of an answer, so he took the judge's choice, which was White Castle.
White Castle.
You just want bread and beef for the rest of your life?
Jeez.
Because Matt George he was like, I'm a fat guy, so therefore I like all restaurants. There's no preference.
Oh Lord, and he got the worst one. White Castle's a laxative.
Yeah, I've never even been to White Castle.
It's
actually.
terrible.
Yeah, I just know the movie.
We went one time. I think we were going to Philly. No, it was a different time. I was with Jill, and I sat down with her, and we ordered at least one of everything off the menu, and ate it. So terrible.
Yeah, I one day I'll check it out.
No, you can do better. Go to Shake Shack. Go to Whataburger. Go to Sonic.
I like Shake Shack. Yeah,
Shake Shack is good.
Shake Shack's good. Okay, guys. Well, we're signing off for tonight. Check out our other friends' podcast as well, the Hellbound podcast every Wednesday with Michael Chan and Alex Blackburn. Let's talk about fighting games with Eamon Mater, also known as Sam Jerka, along with Sonic Smash Bro, Seth, and Paranoia. And lastly, Locutors a Track, a Star Trek themed channel with our cousin Davin, as well as his X-Men the animated series X-Rated every Tuesday with his friend Andre. They go through all those episodes, rate them, and discuss them.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Also, hey, if you ever were curious about Let's Talk About Fighting Games and the breakdown of who exactly is on it, we clear that up also on Trivial Debates too. So that's a great
true.
listen.
You can listen to that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's sign off. I think we should go out with some Betty quotes here. Here we go. Good night, everybody.
Find yourself a new target. I am not going home this week. When I'm mad, I basically just don't talk to the person until I'm feeling better.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe not going to win. Okay.